This is your weekend market review for Sunday, November 5th, 2023. Let's go. Hey everyone, this is my channel to help investors and traders develop a probability-based mindset to succeed. Also try and keep friends informed of what's going on in the markets and the economy, and also a little real estate content as well. This is Dan Max at eXp Realty, aka The Trading Agent. This is your weekend market review for Sunday, November 5th, 2023. Hopefully you're having an amazing weekend. Interesting week last week. A lot of us expected some pop, chop, and some action that would, unwind the oversold conditions. Well, we got it. And we're getting some very strong unwinding, which to me feels very dangerous. And we've gone from oversold to overbought very quickly. The dealers are overexposed. Everyone's going all in calls. We still got a ton of debt to sell. And velocity begets velocity. So there's a lot to talk about. Please grab a coffee, get comfortable, and let's dig into this weekend review. Hopefully, again, if you have any questions, please reach out. Link to the Discord room is description below. Hit me up if you ever need me. The Calendly link as well, 30 minutes. If you're new to the channel, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Also, the Back to Basics series, education, trading videos, all on my website, thetradingagent.com. Also, if you're worried about your brokerage, I'm telling you, please move your money into another brokerage. Interactive brokers is solid to me. There's a lot of problems that could happen if you're not confident about your brokerage. Because again, if your funds get caught in receivership, and the next thing you know, you have shorts or puts or calls, and the broker is going to try to absolutely just destroy you and take advantage of it. Also, get your Marcus 5.4%. Use the codes below, promotion codes. Well worth it, I promise you. Again, I use all this stuff myself, so I'm not promoting something that I'm just think is worthless and I'm like, oh, hey, there's a benefit. No, the benefit is to the people using it. Also, check out Twitter. Post in what we see is going on. Again, it's very interesting. Look at the Q weekly. Everyone's so bullish. It's like, okay, well, we just made a higher low, right? A lower high, and we're rallying back in the oversold condition. It happens. So, Fed Watch Tool, pause. Next meeting, December 13th. Bitcoin holding up. Oil, watch it. If it breaks below, it's almost like it is breaking. It's just a matter of when. Something that just, again, I would not be long-term super bullish. It's dangerous. Natural gas, chop flop. We talked about this one. So dollar, let's get into it because this is where it gets a little interesting, right? We talked about the dollar being severely overbought, right? You got, it was like 11 or 12 weeks of straight up. You get a little trap. Now you're back to the 50-day. You feel a little baby gap. Keep an eye on it because, again, we know that data is going to get weaker, but is the world really stronger, or is it just because everywhere else is, the rest of the world? Because again, European data this week was just as bad, if not worse, in my opinion. So keep an eye on the dollar. Watch the 50-day. Near term, I don't know. It's kind of 50-50 in my opinion, whether it's going lower or higher. I would honestly let it do what it's going to do. Bonds. Oversold rally. Now, again, I'm not surprised. We've talked about the huge volumes down here. We talked about the oversold conditions. I personally think it's going to be choppy. And the hardest thing here is to know, are we at the bottom? Are you going to get a retest? I personally have no desire to jump into bonds at this moment because, again, I think if bonds get bought heavily, stocks are going to have some problems at some point. Just keep that in mind. VIX, again, this is all not sustainable. Look what happened. Boom. This is the biggest drop in the VIX percentage-wise in 5 days in the last 20 years. Now, I know you've had some down moves, but do the percentage. 22 down to 14, 25% VIX move. I haven't seen that in 20 years. I can't even show you that. It goes that far back. So, VIX back at the low 80s. Needs to hold here, right? So far, so good. Let's get into the markets because, again, I think there's some levels that people need to watch for. Not the SPX. SPY, sorry. Okay. We went from oversold, holding the VAT zone, to potentially, again, I know South Korea is banning short selling. People are starting to get a little bit, I don't know what the best way to describe it is, excited. I would love to see it up. Everyone's saying, we'll make the head and shoulders and then we'll come back to the 200-day. I'd prefer if we just kept ripping up. I think that would be the easiest because then you get to this trend line, you get to the 100-day, and then boom, the straight line move will get sold. They always do. And people are like, oh, you can't say that. And it's like, no, you had tons of these. in the down market. You get these straight lines and then doom. Straight lines, doom, right? Even straight line, couple days up, boom, right? You want to see that. And the more straight line, the more likely it's going to get sold because, again, there's no support along the way as it rises. Does that make sense? This is all just short squeezing and chasing, and so there's no support building along the way. That's where it gets more dangerous and more easy to short, in my opinion. QQQ, again, rally much higher than I thought it would be possible. I thought we'd get stuck in the 350s. Here we go. Here we go. Maybe the max upside is this channel. And again, do we get into the low 370s? Do we look above the channel just to bring everybody in, get everyone excited? Again, draw this stuff yourself. IWM, we talked about down here getting, new 52-week lows. All right, maybe it needs to get into the trend line. Like, set your alarms, like 178 area. Maybe it just needs to get up to the trend line. I mean, this is just exuberant, but we'll see how long it lasts, right? And again, the more straight line, the bigger the down move that'll follow. DIA, same kind of thing. Let it get into the 100-day, get into this channel. Gold. We talked about it getting stuck around here in the 185s. I don't trust it. Again, the Fed's not going to pivot mode. Silver, it's been stuck, chopping around. Same kind of thing. GDX, just stuck, chopping. I mean, now again, they had some decent volume and buyers on Friday, but I mean, you really got to get over this 30 level to confirm any sort of like trend being higher. Because again, it looks like to me just like a dead cat bounce and then chop. Same thing with the GDX, right? Good volume. Got to get, I mean, you really need to get over the 30s. We'll see if this sticks. Again, Monday, new day, new week. We'll see what happens. AG got smoked. Got earnings coming up all over the place. AEM, same kind of thing. It's just really hard to trust because, again, AEM looks better. Newmont, you're like, what is going on down here? Like, Newmont should be in the 50s. PAAS, stuck, right? Not really doing much. Just be careful. That's all I can say in the miners. Again, I'd rather wait for the Fed to pivot. We haven't seen that yet. Taiwan Semi. It's interesting because every day it's up. It's like a doji. It's like people like struggling to like try to rip it up. The Micron hits the 73 level. Got to call it impressed. I mean, it is what it is. Got to say, got to call it what it is, right? And I guess, is it possible to get a test up into like the 74 area? Excuse me. Comes from old resistance. Now that would be, honestly, if it gets there, that'd be the gift giving. AMD hit the channel and then broke out. But again, when the market lifted, okay. Now there's a back test of a trend line, the 115s. That to me looks real nice. Somewhere up in here. NVIDIA, same thing. They rip these things right back. You got to give it credit for what it is. And this is where you have stops, and this is where you go, okay, sometimes you just don't know. Here comes the downtrend. I'd watch the 456. I mean, 450s, upper 450s, lower 460s. Intel, wait for that gap to fill, in my opinion. You're so close. I don't know why you wouldn't get there. I don't know. But again, look at the struggling action. Doji. Let it maybe pop, chop, and then pop around. It probably, I mean, again, a lot of these names don't have a lot of, but again, semis to me don't have a lot of upside. Again, here we go. Trend line. Maybe it needs to go a little higher, maybe 152, but they don't look like they have much upside. And again, we don't know what the market may bring. Again, you had another bank failure over the weekend. I mean, Citizens Bank. I don't know, man. It's interesting to think that how they can, I wouldn't say how they can, but how the market just plays games. And sometimes you think, well, it has to collapse right here, right now. And it's like, it doesn't have to. It doesn't have to. So, Adobes, watch this. Again, we like the levels up here. Apple, I was thinking to myself, like, what would be the best way to trap people? Probably let it come right back. I mean, does it have to get to the 100-day? I don't know. Check that out. But again, I don't think it's done yet. If I had to guess. I mean, it got bought up. I mean, market rallies a little bit. Okay. Good old the Amazon. Getting tired up here. I mean, how much further filling the gap here? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if this is a name that gets stuck. And if it goes a little higher, I mean, the nature of the beast. I mean, now you can get a real true head and shoulders top, maybe. I don't know. This is where it gets a little difficult. I mean, I don't even know what to say other than this is why you have stops. This is why you have to be like thoughtful. This is why straight line moves are dangerous. Like there's not much sustaining it other like these quick, fast moves, and it gets people excited, and then they just pull the rug and they get right out just as quickly. CRM, 50-day, probably, I don't know. I mean, if the market has a little bit more to it, let me just draw this. Just curious if there's like a trend line that we're not far from. Yeah, not far. 215 area. GOOG. We hit our gap area. Now I'm starting to sit here and think, okay, does it fail into this gap? Does it need to go a little higher? I mean, it's one of those things where I don't think we're going to fill the gap. But, like, look at the VAP zone here, right? Like, I wouldn't be surprised if we got stuck in that. Meta. Here you go, chopping around. I mean, these names, pick your poison. Pick your spots. Be willing to accept that you can be wrong. Microsoft, again, we be willing to accept you can be wrong. I mean, do we have to get it much high? This is hard. Like, again, it drops, rallies back. You know, your guess is as good as mine. It's not on my radar now. I got stopped out. I'm like, this is getting too hard. I got to see some levels come back. NDAQ, not really interested in it. But again, any major pops. MicroStrategy gotta get over this fours, mid fours, upper fours. If not, Netflix. Now this is on my radar because I'd love to see it come back to the 450s. 450 exactly would be sick. Because then you could have this gap up, chop, trap, and then you could hit the top of the VAP zone. Shoulder line, Roblox. Impressed that it actually made new highs. Getting into it, I'm not really looking to short it, but if it gets to certain levels, I mean, keep it on your watch list. Tesla, not surprised, right? Is anyone surprised? We talked about being oversold, getting to the bottom, and now rising. People are like, well, the 200-day, it's like, well, that's a little higher than I thought it would go. Can't say I thought it would get there, but at this point, I don't know. Maybe it'd be really hard for it to fill the gap. I'd watch the 20-day. I'd watch, right, like the top of the gap. Right, 20-day, somewhere in that area. That to me makes a lot of sense. All right, materials. Not going to talk about letter X, Nucor. This one gets interesting again because I tried to go out and draw some spots. I would be watching the mid upper 150s. Caterpillars, we talked about, oversold, dropped on its earnings, rallying back. I mean, I think you can see clears that. Hold on, I didn't save that one, but I would watch this area right in here. I'd absolutely watch it and wait for the 20-day curling in. That would be perfect. FedEx, rally back. I'd be watching this cross here. Got over the 20-day. Again, it seems to be the 20-day is kind of not as important. I would be watching, looks like the 50-day. See how the 50 days mattered. So I just keep an eye on it. Costco, rally back again. It stopped out. I mean, this is the nature of the beast. If it could back test that spot, that'd be great. If not, this is a tough one right now because it's in this, what I would consider chop cycle. I mean, I guess you could put somewhere around the 565. I mean, but it could backtest the trend line. It's always possible, right? You don't know with the market, the way it's acting. VALE, we talked about these names kind of just oversold, rallies popping. Some of them not popping, like Arrow. This thing is just stuck in the mud. Decent volume, but no, like I don't like that close. CCJ, again, we like uranium, but bro, it's not CCF. Interesting. Watch what happens up here because this is not what you want to see, ideally. You don't want to see a gap and then get stuck at the channel and trend line because that could be distributive. But if it goes, it goes. Again, it's just, people are like, well, that doesn't really help. And it's like, no, you just raise your stops, and if it goes, great. Doesn't, stop out. CF, ag names, we all like these. We thought they'd pop. Little pops, nothing crazy. These names, I'd love to see this stuff just get absolutely hammered. AA, same kind of thing, oversold. We talked about it, holding down here potentially, maybe the 50-day. Again, a lot of these names, you just got to be careful. XLF, this is where it gets really interesting. I love to see it come back to the trend line. Love it. Because then it would be too quick. It would be so fast, so aggressive. Then it could flop. JP Morgan, we talked about taking profits in the 135s. I mean, where's the ideal spot? I don't know, maybe the 50-day. I mean, you're close. You're just close. Let it hold up, right? Morgan Stanley. Again, someone was trying to tell me like, hey, we did good buying it at 72. Well, it went down another couple points and then it rallied back. Again, I don't know how much upside this thing is lagging real hard. Bank of America, I like the idea of this if you can get the trend line. Like if you can get that trend line, that would be sick. Somewhere in the 200-day trend line area, like just get something in here. That would be cool. Goldman Sachs. I know some people tried to short it on Friday. Yeah, this is a tough one. In my opinion, now you got the old channel in play, the 200-day. I mean, I don't think I would have taken that on Friday other than you're just hoping for a Monday slaughter. And if Monday slaughter happens, congrats. Carry. Talked about the junior banks. And now this could help get the IWM get to where it needs to. Imagine if it got to the 200 day. That'd be really fast, really quick. Again, it wouldn't be sustainable. It would be also some major resistance to the left, right? You got tons of this stuff. I mean, does it fill the gap? I don't know. I mean, it makes sense if it got to the 200 day. Here, I'll just draw a little baby little, yeah, there we go. Rectangle. That's what it'd be cool if I'd be watching that. XBI, thought about it being oversold. Back into the channel. 73, 74 here makes sense. IYT, again, I'm going to pull up some of these bigger ETFs that are part of the market overall, big, massive ETFs. I'd be watching the backside of the trend line, 233. What was it? Industrials. We got what? Yep, 200 day. You're not far off. Let it get up into that 103, 104. XLB. Yep, materials, same kind of thing. Let's see what happens. Get up in the 80s. What's the last one I want to look up? Oh, housing. XHB. Check this out. Right? If you can get up into the 78, 79 range, I think it makes sense for a short. All right, let's get into solar because solar's dead. All goodbye, solar. Adios. I mean, sold rallies, as we talked about. Not surprised. Sedge, dead. AMPH. I mean, these names are probably just dead money. Just if you can see again, I think for solar, we talked about it, man, it'd be really nice to see it get up to like the 50 day or back to the bottom of this VAP zone. That makes sense to me. HYG rally back hard on Friday, especially with the market. I mean, wow. I mean, talk about just wildness, right? That's not sustainable. That seems like, honestly, that seems like fear chasing corporate debt. I mean, maybe you get into this like little channel, I don't know, maybe a channel high. Upper 74s. Keep an eye on it. Oil, gas. Now we talked about oil getting a little tired. Demand destruction is a real thing. It is a real thing. Chopping around. UNG. Tough. I have no desire. XOP. Now this is where it gets a little interesting, right? If you have the drip from the low nines, looking good. I mean, oil and gas should have been up more. It just shows you a little more about like demand destruction and what's going on. Like Exxon, look at this. Not holding up that well, right? I like Valero. I like MPC for shorts because of gas. I would not be surprised if at some point, I don't know why I didn't draw this, you got Valero back down here, easy. Back down towards the 100 area. MPC, same kind of thing. Like, look at this fake breakout, gives it back. I don't know why we wouldn't come back down to like the 105s. 105 is easy. I mean, you can see here's the VAP zone, just somewhere down in here. Easily, if oil gets cooked, right? Oxy, we talked about Buffett just selling calls. He's just doing his thing, doesn't care. And then you got EQT holding up. I mean, again, these ranges are interesting. Then you have the WIC and then Flex LNG, right? We like the idea of being a natural gas exporter at some point. So if you have any questions, again, please reach out. Use the Calendly link if you want to chat. Hit me up if you ever have any questions. Link to the Discord room. Also, too, if you have real estate questions, people are asking, like, hey, why would I use a real estate agent in this market? It's like, do you want to market your house to every single person on the planet, or do you want to put a sign out in front of your house and post it on Facebook? Do you really think you're going to get more buyers? The average FSBO gets 15% less than when a good realtor now, because a good realtor is going to market it, right? They're going to promote and make marketing materials that literally accentuate the best parts of your house. They're also going to protect you security-wise. Like, do you want strangers coming over to your house when you're a FSBO versus, if it's on the MLS? People say, oh, you're scaring people into using real estate agents. Well, again, if you're trying to save 1 or 2% on your sale price and it costs you 15%, is that a good investment strategy? You're going to make 15% typically less trying to save a few percentage points. It's a bad idea. And if you get a really good agent and you let me help you out, or someone that I know, or someone I can vouch for, I'm telling you, it is the biggest difference in the world. Because again, it's how you showcase your house, how you showcase it to the world. You put it on the internet, you market the crap out of it, you do the legwork to get people interested, you create a buzz. The average person's not going to do that. They're going to put a sign in the yard, hope the people drive by, see it, and then they're going to put it on Craigslist and hope some cheapos from Craigslist find it. Or they're going to try to throw it on Zillow, and people are going to be like, okay, there it is. But here's the thing. As much as people hate to see this, is that when you FSBO and you don't offer any commission to any buyer's agents, do you think people want to bring their clients by your house? Do you think they really want to go by there knowing that they're not going to get paid? Just keep that in mind. So again, you're burdening yourself. If you have any questions, again, reach out, holler. Hey, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, stop by the Discord room. A link is in the description below. Also, if you'd like to help support more free content, the PayPal link is in the description as well. I appreciate your continued support of the channel.